Hey everyone, Chuck again here. We're going to do another two for one here because they're both tiny sections. They're related to frameworks and methodologies and standards here. One is on risk management, the other one is on supply chain security. So it makes sense to bring those two together. Again, doing this to practice my teaching as well as making sure that I'm prepared for the exam. This seems to work best for me. What one of my colleagues called it is the Feynman methodology. Richard Feynman, as a physicist, was very much an advocate of teaching it as if you were teaching it to young children. You're not young children, but if you can explain it to children and they understand it, then you've probably got a grasp around it. So speaking out like this probably works well for me as a methodology, forces me to really think about what I'm saying and what I know. Hopefully it helps you do the same thing too. Like always, of course, not using any of the ASCM PowerPoints, and kind of this is an opinion piece as well. So what I found in the materials, they did a nice, very succinct, simple way of mentioning some of the different standards out there. And what worked for me to understand them better, I'd say, hey, consider doing the same thing yourself, is for each one jumping out to the internet and poking around, looking at the standard, understanding it. And when I say from an understanding standpoint, looking at it from a kind of a what, why, and impact. What is the standard? Why is it important? Why would it be used? Also, what would be the impact on a supply chain if we do implement the standard, or the impact if we do not implement it? So looking at the list here, from the risk management standpoint, we could go to the SCORE DS model and the maturity levels and use those as a way to assess risk to see what we're doing. A second one is ISO 31000, which is a risk management framework. In risk identification, we teach the FMEA method, failure modes effects analysis. So what we're doing there is we are identifying all of the possible risks, and then we're looking at them for scaling them or rating them from 1 to 10, 10 being most likely, uh, probability of occurrence, severity of the occurrence, and maybe even the third one, the likelihood that we wouldn't even see it coming or that we would miss it. And we multiply those across. The product of those three numbers is the risk probability number, RPN number, and we rank our risk events, potential risk events, from the highest RPM number to the lowest. And then we start at the top and we start building plans to solve those. And certainly where we can we group those risks into similar risks and be able to come up with a solution that solves multiple ones. So that's FMEA. And some of our options in that becomes prevention, mitigation. Can we shift the risk to another party? Like when we ship a container overseas, we take out insurance, or perhaps it's not possible to solve, or it's just too expensive. We may just accept it as well. On the supply chain security side of things, I am not as familiar beyond as a consumer like you and I are of normal security we do in our computers, but here's the ones they listed here in our participant guides. From an information security standpoint, ISO 27001. Cybersecurity, they have two here, NIST standards, NIST 800-53 and CMMC as a standard out there also. From a physical security standpoint and preventing against counterfeits, we look to technologies like telemetry, RFID, smart cards, blockchain, and the like. So very small section, succinct section, but being that this is a important part of our future, it makes sense. We could see at least Chuck opinion, we'd see a question or two on the security part of things, since as we transform our supply chain forward, it's a great chance to set the securities at the same time. So going in and looking at the what, why, and the impact would make sense from an understanding and exam prep standpoint.